how you can use hashing to do this digital signatures. So then there is the other part of this, because yes, we have a way to produce the signatures, but we haven't fully thought through how to verify these signatures, because verifying a signature requires you to have someone's public key, right? So if Alice wants to send a signed message to Bob, for Bob to verify this message, Bob needs to have Alice's public key, right? So how does he get Alice's public key? You might say, why can't Alice just simply give it to Bob or send it to Bob on an insecure channel, because, well, it's public. The problem is that an attacker could simply send their public key, and now the Bob will not have the ability to figure out at this point that it is actually not Alice's public key but some attacker's public key, right? So therefore, if Alice simply sends her public key over an insecure channel to Bob, that won't allow for the signature to be verified. So you need some trusted party in between to help you with this, and that is the notion of certification authorities. Okay, so the idea is that to make the system work, everybody needs to know the public keys of some entities that are going to be called as certification authorities. Okay, now these certification authorities, so if the CA, right, signs a document, you are able to verify it because you already know their public key, right? So as a practical matter, how does this work? The CA's public key will be hard coded into your browser's code, or into your operating system's code, right? So this is how, in practice, the notion of already knowing the public key works. Okay. Now, what can happen is that now that you know the CA's public key, the CA can now give you Alice's public key by essentially taking Alice's public key, signing it with the CA's signature, right? So now only the CA can produce this signed document. Therefore, when you get this document, you can verify that it has truly been, from the CA's, from the CA, and because you trust the CA, you're going to know, okay, this is actually Alice's public key. So this is how the whole process is bootstrapped. Okay, and so that brings us to this notion of public key certificates. So public key certificates allow this kind of public key exchange without needing a real-time access to a public key authority, right? So because once Alice's public key has been signed by the CA, anybody can present this signed key, right? It doesn't have to come from the CA specifically, because its authenticity can be verified, and therefore anybody can give it to you, including Alice herself, right? Alice can send this information over an insecure channel, and because it carries the signature of the CA, you can verify it, and therefore we have solved the problem that we previously had, right? So what does a certificate do? You can think of a certificate as securely binding the identity of Alice to her public key, right? So when you get this public key, okay, so this, by looking at that certificate, you can figure out, okay, so this happens to be the public key of Alice, okay? And so it performs this binding, and basically what needs to happen is that this binding is done, using this signature, or as a practical matter, what needs to happen is that there needs to be information that says, okay, this is Alice's public key, and the message containing Alice's identity and Alice's public key is encrypted using CA's public key, CA's private key. Therefore, verify it using CA's public key. Okay, so that's how this works. So that brings us to the conclusion of our discussion on cryptography.